Welcome back, second grade scholars. So today is Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. For math today, you're going to need to get a piece of paper and you're also going to get something to write with in order to be ready for today's lesson. As you're getting those materials today during our Rainbow Spirit Week, today is the color green. So if you would like to take a picture of you wearing green and collecting different things that are green at your house, you can definitely do that and then send the picture to your teachers or post it on our parent Facebook page. And you might find yourself in our morning motivation slideshow with Ms. Hammond. Awesome. So far in our measurement unit, we have practiced measuring objects in inches using rulers on paper. And we have also practiced measuring objects to the nearest inch on paper. Today, we're going to be talking about another unit inside our customary measurement. So in the beginning of the year, we did metric measurement. Now we're jumping into customary measurement. So we already know about 1 inch. And the tools that I've been using you mostly to show you have been a ruler. And you've been using these rulers, and you can see here on the top, a ruler starts at 0 inches and goes all the way to 12 inches. I also have another tool, and this is called a tape measure. You might have this at your house. You might have one that looks a little bit different, that if you have parents who like to sew or quilt or do crafts, it's all material and it doesn't have this big part to it. You could have one that it looks exactly like this, but a tape measure is another tool that we can use to measure in inches and also in feet. And that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today. So we're going to be practicing measuring objects in feet, which can be a little bit tricky when it comes to doing it online on a computer. So we're going to be looking at a lot of pictures and thinking about student work in order to think about, does this actually make sense? Before we jump into the work though, I want to talk a little bit about the connection between inches and feet. So here in my tape measure, from my finger to right here where it ends, this represents 1 inch. Now, on the ruler, I already told you that there are 12 inches. You can see 0 to 1, and you can see that length 1 inch. The cool thing about 12 inches in one ruler is that 12 inches represents 1 foot. That means the relationship between inches and feet is that 12 inches makes up 1 foot. Inches are a smaller unit and feet are a larger unit. The entire length of this ruler equals 1 foot. I also want to show that to you on this measuring tape. So I'm going to find 12 feet, which equals 1 foot, on this measuring tape. So this represents, oopsie, this represents 1 foot, and it's even labeled on the measuring tape as 1 foot. Now, another unit that we're going to talk about a little bit later is yards, which is also a part of our customary measurement unit. We have our inches, the smallest unit. 12 of those inches equals 1 foot, and then 3 of these feet, 1 foot, 3 feet, 3 feet. See, you can see from one hand to another, that equals 1 yard. So 12 inches equals 1 foot and 3 feet equals 1 yard. A lot of sports, including football, they measure the total length of the playing field or the football field in yards. And there are 100 yards, or I think 120 yards from goalpost to goalpost. So we're going to jump into today's lesson, and it's really important that you remember that 12 inches, the length of this ruler, equals 1 foot. That's really, really going to help you answer these questions in our problem solving task, discussion problems, and also your exit ticket. So let's jump in. It'll just take me a second to rearrange here a little bit so that you can see the problem. I'm going to zoom in here to today's problem solving task. All right, I want to make sure you can see everything. Move it up a little bit. Okay. All right. Thank you for having patience. So you have two things that you have to do for this problem solving task. It says part A. How many feet long is the length of this rectangle? Think about what you learned in the video about inches and feet. That video is talking about two videos. One, the information that I just presented you with in the very beginning of this video, but also if a couple of days ago you watched that video that I provided the link for in the seesaw activity. That video I'm also going to put in the directions for the seesaw activity today. You probably noticed it when you opened this, so definitely feel free to re-watch that. It gives a great explanation about the relationship between inches and feet. But nonetheless, as you can see here, underneath the rectangle, you have pictures of rulers. So your job is to figure out how many feet long is the length of this rectangle, and then answer the question on your paper. Explain how you use the rulers to help you figure out your answer. So how did these rulers help you? Awesome. Go ahead, take some time, pause this video, and get started on your problem solving task. Wonderful. Hopefully you had some time by now to answer this question, so we can jump right in here to going over the problem solving task together. Taking a look at part A, we have to figure out the length of how many feet long this rectangle is. So I can see here that I have 1, 2, 3 rulers. I know that in a ruler there are 12 total inches, and if I look super closely I can see from going from 0 inches all the way to 12. So this space right here represents 12 inches. And here's another 12 inches. And here's another 12 inches. Forgot to label this one. I also know that Miss Dixon just told me, or we just talked about together, that one entire ruler, or 12 inches, represents 1 foot. So this is 1 foot, this is 1 foot, and this is 1 foot. FT stands for foot or feet. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, that equals 3. So this rectangle is 3 feet long. So the next part B, was just to make sure that you were using those rulers to help you. So it says, explain how you use the rulers to help you figure out your answer. So I'm going to do my explanation. We use the rulers to help us, always starting in a complete sentence, because we know that one ruler has, or equals is better because it's the same idea. One ruler equals 12 inches. We know that 12 inches equals 1 foot. So, because there were 3 rulers, that means the rectangle is 3 feet long. Awesome. So that's how we use the rulers. We know that our ruler has 12 inches in it, and we also know that 12 inches represents 1 foot. So because of that, we could count these by 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet. Now, I just want to push your thinking here, and in a couple of problems in our discussion, I'm going to actually have you practice this. So if I asked you how many inches are in 3 feet, how would you solve that? Hopefully you're thinking about, and I was about to write on my whiteboard in pen, and that wouldn't be good, but hopefully you're thinking about this. I know that I have 3 feet. 3 feet represents 3 groups of 12 inches. 3 groups of 12 inches. And I really have to zoom out here so you can see this. 3 groups of 12 inches. So that means 3 groups of. That's multiplication. 3 times 12 equals blank. And you can solve this by saying, what's 12 plus 12 plus 12? Well, as I keep moving this back, 12 and 12 make 24 plus 12. 24 plus 10, that's 34, and 2 more make 36. So 3 feet also represents 36, oops, you can't see that, 36 inches. That's just pushing your brains a little bit to see the connection here between this measurement and what we have worked on in multiplication. I'm just gonna erase this off my board and get us ready to practice measuring more objects in feet. So here is our first discussion problem, and we're gonna do this one together. This discussion problem is asking us, how tall is this 5th grade boy? Now, what's different here versus the other problem is that we are looking at the height. So instead of going from left to right, we're going from bottom to top. So I know, and I have to keep this in my mind, and I might even just write that here, that 12 inches equals 1 foot. That's super important for me to remember. I also need to remember that 12 inches represents 1 ruler. So let's take a look here at the rulers that we see. Here's 1 ruler, here's the 2nd ruler, the 3rd ruler, the 4th ruler, and the 5th ruler, which means here's 12 inches, another group of 12, a 3rd group of 12, 4 groups of 12, 5 groups of 12. Awesome. So now that I've labeled this, and I should probably also include my inches on the other side, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches. Let's take a look at the possible answers here to see if there are any that we could cross off. So 4 feet, 60 feet, 48 feet, and 5 feet. Well, based off of how we have labeled the rulers, based off of the fact that we know there are 12 inches in 1 ruler, and 12 inches represents 1 foot, I think there's definitely one that I would cross off. And that one I would cross off would be 4 feet. We have 5 rulers. Because we have 5 rulers here, this represents 5 feet. So the height of this 5th grade boy is 5 feet. But let's take a look and talk a little bit about B and C. B said 60 feet and C said 48 feet. And I think these numbers are coming from a place where they figured out inches. Let's focus in on 60 feet. 60 feet would be something that is incredibly long. 60 feet would be 6 grown adult men lying down, lying down straight in a line. Is he that? No, he is just 1 5th grade boy. 60 feet is way too big of an answer. Where this number was coming from though, and this is something I want us to think about, is if I have 5 feet like I do here, how many inches is that? Well, that would be 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. 5 groups of 12. We know that there are 5 feet. We know there are 12 inches in each foot. So 5 groups of 12 would tell me how many inches there are. 12 and 12 make 24. 12 and 12 make 24. And I have 12 left. 24 plus 24, 48. And 12 more. 48 plus 12. 48 plus 10, 58. 58 plus 2, 60. So that's where 60 comes from. But the answer I just got is 60 inches, the smaller unit, not 60 feet. So the correct answer here, counting the rulers, knowing that each ruler represents 1 foot, is 5 feet. Awesome. This is the next part that I'm going to have you do by yourself. And as you can see here, I'm going to zoom in. I did provide you with a visual to help you remember that this one ruler represents 1 foot, and that's because it's made up of 12 inches. 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I'm going to have you, I want to zoom in as much as I can. I'm going to have you answer question 1 and question 2 by yourself before we go over it. So question 1 says, Mr. Martinez is 6 feet tall. How many inches tall is he? Number 2, Dominic built a tower and measured the height of it in inches. His tower measured 24 inches. How many feet is this equal to? Go ahead. Write some number sentences. You can even draw quick sketches if you want to, or quick pictures of a person or the tower. But do your best here. Pause the video to answer questions 1 and question 2. Okay, hopefully that gave you enough time by pausing the video to answer these questions, and now we're going to go over them together. So, question number 1 says, Mr. Martinez is 6 feet tall. How many inches tall is he? So this is where using this key up here is going to be super helpful. So we know that in a ruler there are 12 inches, and 12 inches equals 1 foot. So if he's 6 feet tall, that means he is 6 groups of 12. And that 6 represents the 6 feet, and 12 represents 12 inches. 6 groups of 12. So 1 foot is 12, I have another 12, so on. So I'm going to turn this around to repeated addition. This is multiplication. 6 times 12 equals blank. I'm going to return this around to repeated addition. 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. Now I have my 6 groups of 12. This represents 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. Now I can do some addition. 12 plus 12, 24. Doubles fact again. 12 plus 12, 24. And another 12 plus 12, that equals 24. So now, 24 plus 24, that equals 48. I'm gonna see, excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. And I have one more group of 24 that I have to add to my 48. So 40 plus 20, remember those are in the tens place, so 40 plus 20, that's going to give me 60. And then 8 plus 4, that equals 12. So 60 plus 12 equals 72. So Mr. Martinez, there's 2 ways that we could talk about his height. The most common way is using feet. Mr. Martinez is 6 feet, but he is also 72 inches tall. And we did that with multiplication. We knew that 1 foot represented 12 inches, so 6 of them we would have to multiply 6 times 12, 6 groups of 12 to get our answer. Awesome. Now, down here, the second question says, Dominic built a tower and measured the height of it in inches. His tower measured 24 inches. How many feet is this equal to? This is a little bit trickier because we have to do the opposite. We're taking his tower and we have to divide it by the number of inches in each foot to figure out the number of feet. 24 inches divided by 12 equals the number of feet. Well, I'm going to draw circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to draw 24 of them because that represents the total number of inches. And I know that I have 12 inches in each of my groups, and my group represents 1 foot. So I need to figure out my number of feet. So in this problem, the total is 24. I should have started with the key, my fault. The number in each represents 12, and that's the number in each foot, 12 inches, right? I have 24 inches, and my groups, which would be my feet, is the number of feet, and I don't know it. It's my mystery number. It's the big question. So because I know the number in each, I can circle groups of 12. And I need to make sure that I actually draw 24 and not 20 like I just did. So here's 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to circle that. So right here, this represents 1 foot. 12 inches equals 1 foot. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is my second group, so 2 feet. So that means what we just figured out is that 24 inches equals 2 feet. Awesome. This page that you worked on by yourself is taking our measurement information, the idea that 1 foot equals 12 inches, and doing some multiplication and division with it. If anything that we went over today was tricky for you, please feel free to reach out to your teachers to make sure that you're understanding it. Also, if you're someone who happens to have a ruler at home, just like I have here, or you also have some sort of tape measure, feel free to go practice measuring things in feet. You can measure the length of your bed in feet. You can measure a table if you have a table, the height of a chair, maybe the height of a brother or a sister, as long as you have their permission, of course. The height of a lamp in feet. Anything that has a large, that seems to be pretty tall, maybe taller than you. You could definitely take your ruler and take your tape measure and just practice measuring in feet. I'll be back tomorrow with another video for us. Tomorrow's color is blue, so if you are participating in our Rainbow Spirit Week, please make sure to send your pictures to your teachers. But also tomorrow is the blue color day, so feel free to wear blue. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another math video.